Hello everyone, welcome back to the Lucy Y podcast. Today is November 28th, 2:33 p.m. and I'm very grateful to be here right now. I just got out of the shower and I'm wearing my hat that I got from Whitney Cummings' website. It says lover. I'm a lover and that's what I'm here to do. And that's what I think we're all here to do on Earth. It is. It actually is. It's been a week since I last talked to you all. It's actually been a week and a day. I had recorded something yesterday, like a podcast yesterday, and it just isn't working on my computer. I don't have enough space on my phone, the cord. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just a sign that I should make a new one. And I'm glad to make a new one. I hate being stressed and feel like I have to, do something. I don't have to do anything. And that's kind of why I've always disliked deadlines, but, it's good for consistency, and, it's my fault for wanting to, for pushing myself, making myself feel in a rush. That's me. I've been knowing I was gonna do it. I went to Louisville yesterday, and that was just yesterday when I drove there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I drove there. I knew I've been wanting to do, because last week I did the podcast on Tuesday, and then I uploaded it on Wednesday, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do the same thing, gonna do it, consistently, with a microphone and a camera, and, yeah, I don't like that. I like doing it on my phone. I like doing it on the laptop. I like doing it the way I like to do. So I'm just going to do that because it's easier, and there's no reason to pressure me to do anything. I don't know why I'm putting the pressure on myself, because I feel like society or people, that's what they would want. And because I've been told. But I'm going to do it my way, because if you don't want to listen to me unless the sound is good or video quality is good, then you don't really want to listen to me. And then if you don't want to, I don't want to force you. Or that didn't make sense, but then you don't really want to listen to me talk anyway. And this isn't for you either, so all of that. It's for me, so I don't know why I was doing it for people that I don't even know. I'm gonna do it my way, and the way I like. So I went to Louisville yesterday and came back today. I dropped Neil off at the airport, and if you've been listening, then you would know Neil, because I made a podcast after meeting him. I don't know how long after, I don't know if it was that weekend or a week later, but there's a podcast episode called I Met Someone, and that's the story I said how we met. Because I've been doing this podcast, and we met, and then now, it's a month or two later. So, yeah, and he lives in the city in Louisville. I live in Lexington, Kentucky, which is an hour and 15 away. That's why we met in Louisville. I went to I love the This Is Important podcast, the Workaholics Boys, and he does too, and that's where we met at. They were going to be in Louisville. We met at a bar. Listen to the podcast. I'm not repeating the story. But yeah, so I knew I was going to be doing it all day. We met yesterday, and then he was going to have to go to work at some point. And that's what he's didn't want to say something about me being all alone, and it's I love being, I love being alone. That's totally cool with me. You go do your thing. I'll do my thing. I had clothes I want to give away. I went to a store, and they said, 20 minutes away. This is, I was gonna knew I had to film the podcast, but I'm like, didn't have to. I wanted to. And it's like I'm pushing it off. I figured, like, I knew I wanted to do something. Well, I really didn't want to do it. I felt like I had to do it. Another case of having to do something. Cleaning out my closet, and then I was gonna go take it. Well, I did go to Plato's Closet. I've never been there before, and they said they stopped taking stuff. I'm like, so I was looking up other places to give it to, and I was just like, this is too much. So I went back. I saw a sign right before I was back at the apartment. It said, why wait? And I'm like, you're right. So I started filming there, and then the podcast was like, I was turning the lights off and on, because I like that vibe. I like a little bit of that, a little bit of this. Like, I'm wearing a hat right now. I'm feeling a little covered up, but also very, like, seen. So. But yeah, I mean, this is a sign. I'm glad I'm doing it now, because, like, I felt I wasn't in the greatest mood yesterday. And I feel a lot better now. I mean, to be honest, how far in do you think people... I mean, I don't care. I'm being honest. But, I'd been wanting to say it for a while, and I told Neil I loved him. And of course, I'm, like, kind of saying it, like, while looking... Like, I'm hugging him, but, like, looking to the side. Like, I don't... You had to be there if you really want to know specifically how to do it. But I did say it, and then it's like, I mean, he didn't... I was just like, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of adjusting. But this is what I've wanted. This is really what I've wanted. I wanted to meet someone like me that likes the same stuff as I do, that supports me, is nice to me. Like, I just wanted a good partner, life being, and he really is, and I'm really grateful. And I'm learning a lot about myself in this relationship, like we should in every relationship. Learn a lot about ourselves. Like, what can we learn from this person? And grow. But I've been wanting to say it for a while, and it is scary. It is really scary. And I'm glad I said it. I mean, he is too. Y'all gotta meet him himself. Maybe he'll be on here. This might just be for me, though. But yeah, the podcast yesterday, I also said a lot talking about how life is hard. No one said it is easy. Take it easy. But yeah, my mom drilled in my head, life is not fair. I've definitely talked about that. But if you haven't heard it now, life is not fair. I think it gets fair. I mean, it doesn't really get fair in the end. Like, what does that mean? But, like, karma, reaping what you sow. Like, you do bad things happen, good things happen, do good things happen. But, like, I've growing up, like, I'm 23 now, and, like, I always thought my suffering would, like, make up for it. Like, it would all be worth it in the end. I might not edit this. Yeah, I knew it would all be worth it in the end, and I'm really grateful. Like, no matter if that idea in my head was, like, heaven, that always made me feel weird, because I'm like, I don't know what happens when we die. No one does. Like, how do you know? You haven't died. If this is the first time you're listening, like, I think heaven and hell is, like, a mindset. Like, I feel like I've been in a hell mindset, and I feel like I can, like, choose to be in a heaven mindset. And it's, like, an everyday choice. Like, it ain't easy. It's a choice. And then, like, when you're aware of your feelings and of yourself, and that you can like choose what you want to do, then like it's easier to be, I don't know, like I felt I knew I could make choices, and then at some point in my life like I felt like I couldn't. Like I think as kids, like it's instinctual that we can make choices, like we don't question if we can or can't, like, and then stuff starts happening, and like whatever your stuff is, like it do people, like I was like very people pleasing at some point, and I felt like I didn't, I mean that's just it, like I was very people pleasing. I felt like I was like a prisoner in my own like body and my own self, like that's hell. That's hell. We're not prisoners to our anything. We have choices. And if you choose to be in heaven, then you do things that are good for you and good for your heart and good for your soul. And that's what heaven's all about. I was just thinking, like, I want to talk, I might do a separate video about, like, my relationship with God, or I might do it right now. I don't have water right around me, I don't really. Okay, I'm just gonna talk. My relationship with God, I've always been very spiritual. Always. Like, I always knew there's a lot more than we can see. Like, I've always been very aware of that. And, like, kind of found home and comfort in that. I always wanted to, like, be by myself, because that's when I felt, like, most connected to spirit or God. Or, like, my true... Or, like, it felt like home to me. It really did. And, you know, I'm putting it in my head, like, like, a lot of people would tell me what to do, want things from me, like people coming into my room and I'm like screaming, get out. Like I'm thinking, because that was my like safe space, and people coming in like felt like such an invasion. And I want to bring peace and harmony to people. Like I want people to feel comfortable, and I feel like that it became harder and harder for me to speak up. Yeah, and just losing myself in that for pleasing people, because I think like I would get rewarded, quote unquote, for people pleasing, like materially get rewarded, but in my soul, like it breaks a part of my soul or heart and everything. So that happened for a long time until I'm very grateful for all the things I've done. Like I've done some like stopping and starting over, like a lot of the I've had a lot of deaths and rebirths, I felt like, throughout my life, just in terms of friendships and like casual friendships, I mean school, like pretty much like everything. A lot of deaths and rebirths, like going to different schools and stuff. I thought I would have an identity of something, and then like that would end, and then I'd have to like start all over, like with school students. And like I was like identified like as a dancer, kind of like that was like my whole life, doing it in school, outside of school, all the time, and I didn't even really like it. Like I did, and then I ended up hating it, whatever. And because it became about everything else besides the dancing, like the pure fun of it. Like, I think I told my mom I wanted to dance because it was purely fun in the beginning, and then it becomes, like, not fun at all when it becomes, like, your school. Like, that felt like a job. I mean, if it really felt like a job, doing it after school, I would cry. And I had other activities, too, like, besides after school, like, not blaming that's why my grades are bad, but were bad, or why I never did my schoolwork or everything, but I was constantly busy. I lost sense of myself. I really did. For a long time. I don't know if I felt like I knew myself. Like, I knew I was a spiritual person. I knew I was like, I just wanted to make people laugh. I just wanted to be myself and make people feel good. I want to do some real changes in life. Or, like, make changes. Because I see a lot of messed up stuff. And I don't want that doesn't have to keep happening. I want to do whatever I can to, like, not keep bad stuff going on. Like, I know that. And then becoming, losing my sense of self in everyone else. I mean, that's like I didn't have myself. What was I, like, a robot? And then I would act out and be hard on myself. Very hard on myself. Very critical. And so in the worst possible thing that God could have done was, my dad died randomly out of the blue when I was 16, and it was something I never thought would happen. And, like, I've said this, like, in person a lot. Like, I mean, my dad was, like, my protector, my best friend, everything. And not getting a reason for why he died, like, I knew it had to be for a reason. I knew it had to be for a reason, but I didn't have any physical reason. The autopsy came back, said drowning. That wasn't it. Like, he didn't hit his head. It wasn't alcohol. Like, we have heard of terms, dry drowning terms. I don't know, but I think it was all divine, and I know it was all divine, and I know I wouldn't be here today doing this if he hadn't died. I wanted to, like, I feel more of my true self with him not here, because I feel like he's helping me on my other side, and, like, him dying and me searching has made me closer to my true self. I've slowly stopped being a people pleaser, like, slowly. Like, it's not easy. It was not easy. I had just started dating someone for 5 months when my dad died, and of course, like, I blamed it on me for a long time. Like, you want to blame, but, like, yourself and whoever you want to blame, I don't know, but I blamed myself. There's baby. I wouldn't have baby if my dad hadn't died. I wouldn't have, I love you. I wouldn't do anything. I don't know where I would be if it wasn't for my dad dying, really. Like, that shaked up my whole world. And I felt like some stuff happened when he died, like, spiritually. Like, I don't, like, my old self maybe immediately died when my mom was on the phone with me telling me, like, something rose above, because it's like I couldn't have taken that. I didn't. Like, I cried the heck. I call myself a professional crier because I cry so much, but, like, especially that, like, was hard. And there's a lot of things in that, but, like, he was the glue of the family. He was the funniest, like, nicest person ever, and that's why I could learn a lot from him. And that's why I idealized him a lot, but he was human. We're all human. he's not perfect. I can't idealize him, like, as a perfect being, and, like, because he wasn't, but he was the perfect dad. Like, did everything was perfect to bring me to where I am now. So I'm so grateful for everything and every time I had, but it was something I never thought could happen. And so that happened in it was 2017. February 5th, 2017, Super Bowl Sunday. I was watching the game with my ex and my sister at the time, and it was like a whole thing. I've talked about it. We'll probably never stop talking about it. It will always be a part of my story, and I'm so grateful for that. I love my dad. I love looking at pictures of him. And that's why I really feel him, like, guiding me on this side. Like, I think this is part of my soul journey and part of his journey to, like, maybe help me on the other side. I just got his, like, Bryan Station varsity jacket from my grandma's house. Yeah, and then his dad died a couple years after, but, like, I was slowly stopping being a people-pleasing because I'm, like, the biggest thing I learned from that is you can die at any time, any day, for no reason. Like, that's crazy beautiful. It's crazy beautiful. We don't know. We're not in control, and I think that's beautiful. That's why I know, like, my spiritual journey really started there. And then, like, 2020 was my big, like, I closed my eyes. Like, I was just done. Closed my eyes, like, finally, like, surrendering to God or to what's inside. Like, I searched everywhere, not everywhere. Like, I had to look for within. Closed my eyes, never wanted to open them again, really. Like, for like 10 hours I would have stayed there. I was on my ex's porch, an ex I dated for like 10 days. And I was like obsessed with him, and I closed it for like 10 hours. I felt like I was in heaven. I felt like I met God. I felt like my dad was there. It was amazing, and that really changed my life. I never really meditated before then, but I had to be done. It took me a lot to get there. Like, you would have thought maybe I would have been done way earlier. No, it's like I was, but I was searching everywhere except for within. And not like within, without, like the without within me, you know. And so I started meditating more after that. I started watching. So my sister just messaged me on TikTok. I didn't watch. I started writing in my journal. I'd never kept a journal before. I went through like 10, 20 journals that summer. It was like July or something. Like, I would scribble, because stuff changed when I did that. It really did. Like, when my dad died, like, I am a very big feeler, and that's what I started learning more about that. That's actually kind of what, like, I was very done, and I was always interested in astrology, and always kind of like, I never took like a serious look into it, like wanting to learn what it is about, what the history of it was. And I was looking at that, and I learned what a life path number was, and I learned what empath meant. Like, those three things, really. I'm like, all that stuff was connecting with me. I'm like, okay, let me close my eyes, and like, stuff happened. Yeah, so I started writing in my journal more. That's what, I think at that point, like, I wasn't really fired. I was working at a restaurant, COVID happened, whatever. I didn't really want to go back. Like, it's a sign. They put me on the schedule. I saw it when I was, like, drinking, like, my sorrows away one night, and, like, I never showed up to my stuff. Apparently, my mom told me a week ago that my brother said that someone else, apparently, at that restaurant, I'm known as the no-show. I'm like, what? Like, I guess. Like, I had a lot of part of the spiritual journey is accepting everything about myself, accepting responsibility for everything. It's like, damn, all this people pleasing, I really put myself in it. I really put myself in it. Like, who's to blame? Nobody but myself. Really. I mean, like, you can blame everyone else, but then when you see you can't, and that you got free will, and that you're a person, and you're not, like, obligated to everyone else, it's yourself. So since then, like, 2020, July, like, that's been a whole different spiritual journey. Yeah, I was working at that job, and that's what I started becoming obsessed with someone else, people pleasing. I started, ever since my first boyfriend, I think, like, that, like, the male figure, that's what I feel like I've kind of replaced them with my dad, whatever. And that's what been mad at myself a lot for that, but I can't be mad. Like, that was how I survived. Now I'm living and thriving. It's an everyday thing, man. It's everyday, bro. Yeah, I'm not putting people as my main figure. Like, that's God now. I'm doing the best for me because God says so. Like, and so that's what I started learning, being open. Like, I started realizing, like, all the religions, like, we're all wanting the same thing. Like, I never really studied the Bible or, like, had read it myself. Yeah, so I followed my next boyfriend for, like, 10 days. I started working at a different restaurant. And, that was just a whole journey. Making money myself, choosing not to go to school. Everything was a lot. That place ended up burning on fire. So I think it was a sign for me to go. And, so when that ended, my mom had somehow got me a gig at CASA, the like, court-appointed special advocates. So I worked there for 3 months. They didn't want to hire me for longer than 3 months because I wasn't getting a degree. And then I remember working at the front desk, and, like, scheduling these things. Like, I realized, like, with meditating, like, I couldn't breathe throughout my nose unless I went, like, oh, my rover sitter got approved. I couldn't breathe out my nose, so I was scheduling. And, like, I was gonna get LASIK because that was gonna be, like, it was, like, a graduation present for all my siblings. Like, my dad had got it for my mom, and then my siblings when they graduated high school, and then they turned the age to 21, so I had to wait till I was 21. We just ended up scheduling. But that's what, one night, like, after the 3 months of CASA, like, one night, because my mom's like, what are you gonna do, trying to kick me out, like, for the millionth time. And, because I was living in one of her apartments. I'm out of it now. And she's, like, asking me to pay rent. I'm like, was trying not to. But one night, I'm like, okay, like, I am interested. Like, I think the Bible is interesting. I think there's a lot of truth to it. I want to ask a lot of people questions. I want to be in a religious, or it's just spiritual environment, not religious. I don't like that word. I don't like the word religion. And because it just sounds so strict, and, like, I know people have, like, things that come up to mind when I say it, so I don't like saying it. But I chose to go to, like, Asbury, really to make my mom happy. Anything you learn from this, don't do things to make other people happy. That's not your task, to make other people happy. I read a book about this. I wish I remember what the book was called, but I don't. Went to school for 2 years, met someone else, got obsessed with him, whatever. And then I just decided this summer I started babysitting. That was a lot. Ended up quitting school, cutting my hair, and quitting the job and starting to do my own thing. And that's where we are now. And I'm very grateful. That's what there were friendships that have all the works. I can make friends everywhere I go. I really can. But I need that alone time. I can very easily do whatever you want. And so boundaries is important to me. And doing it, like being guided by my heart and by my spirit is where I want to do. And honestly, like me going to the This Is Important podcast in Louisville by myself was me. I done it with Whitney Cummings where I got this hat. She came around one time, missed her, regretted it. She came around the second time, I'm like, I'm not gonna miss it. I went there by myself, had a great time. She announced she was pregnant for the first time. So this is important. I got my own ticket. I was gonna go the whole time. And then I end up meeting Neil, who had just decided to go there that day by himself. His friend wasn't gonna go with him. It was just so divine. And I'm so grateful. And that's like Jeanette McCurdy, like I'm retroactively, like, I'm glad my dad died because I feel more my true self. I feel more connected to him. I wouldn't be who I am if he hadn't died. And like noticing that in the Bible, like, I like the Good News version, by the way. Like, what is it? Jesus died for our sins to become new. But I mean, he died for us to like be ourselves. And that's why I really feel like my dad died for me to be myself. And for everyone else to be themselves. Like, that's their story, but really, like, it made my ego die at that point. Like, I see it, I wrote on my thing, no ego, no suffering. All love, love all. And now I'm loving life. And that's why I'm just gonna read this. I have a lot of stuff on my wall. And I'm just very grateful. My dad had a radio station. I think he was very creative. And I think he would be proud of me. I know he is. So I'm very glad. To everyone, may the Lord bless you and take care of you. May the Lord be kind and gracious to you. May the Lord look on you with favor and give you peace. I love life. No ego equals no suffering. All love, love all. I just talked for a while. 33 minutes, that's a good number. Sorry. Point of this, just do what you want to do as long as it's good with your heart, soul, mind. Like, it's for the betterment of everyone else. Like, I can say that and then I know someone can like take it and be like, oh, I do whatever I want, I do something bad. But that's not what I mean, and you know that, okay? You do. Listen, your heart knows it. And that's why our hearts aren't always connected to our mind, but get your heart set on God and the goodness of all. Like, love yourself, like truly love. Love is a true feeling of love for everyone. Like, if you're not in a state where you love everyone, that's not true love. That's why I like saying all love, love all. Because if I'm not in the state where I love everyone, like all love, love all, then that's not love. That's limerence, that's lust, that's whatever. So I'm glad we talked about this. Thanks for this. Yeah, I love y'all. Have a great rest of your day. See you next week. I'm excited to see where I go. Every week is crazy. Let's look at the light. Beautiful. Bye, y'all.